Back in the early Cold War, American military planners were losing sleep over a pretty terrifying scenario: waves of Soviet bombers heading for the U.S. mainland. To counter that threat, they needed something new: an interceptor that could fly at night, in any weather, scramble fast, and meet those bombers well before they got anywhere close. In 1945, the United States Army Air Forces put out a call for exactly that kind of aircraft. 6 companies threw their hats in the ring, and the winner was Northrop. But there was just one problem. When it came to their proposal, even from the very beginning, just about everyone, test pilots, inspectors, you name it, had something to criticize. What's almost funny is that the original concept was actually more ambitious than what eventually rolled off the assembly line. Think swept wings, a movable nose turret with cannons, a high-tech flying Guardian. But reality set in fast. Tests and calculations showed that the swept wing configuration hindered performance at low speeds, and the turret got scrapped in favor of 6 fixed 20mm cannons in the nose. That's what ended up sticking. From there, the F-89 program turned into one long exercise in tweaking and fixing. Deadlines slipped. The design kept changing. Every time engineers found a problem, it meant another round of revisions. The low point came on February 22, 1950, when a prototype went down because of flutter. Basically, the tail couldn't handle the turbulence and jet blast. That crash put production on ice, while engineers scrambled to reinforce the whole rear section and rework the exhaust so that the flutter incident could never happen again. By 1951, the team had sorted things out enough to roll out the F-89B, and right on its heels, the F-89C. Little by little, the Scorpion was maturing as a design. One after another, it got better flutter protection, better equipment, not to mention countless practical modifications, like emergency jettison for fuel tanks. The engines went through their own saga too. The early J-35A9s were complicated and underpowered, so engineers kept swapping them out, first for afterburning A-21s, then for more refined A-33s, and eventually A-35s. Engineers considered putting in even more powerful engines, but those experimental versions of aircraft were ultimately deemed unnecessary and never made it to production. The F-89D variant ended up being the most produced version of the Scorpion. By then, Northrop had decided cannons were out and rockets were in. The D model packed a new fire control system and pods full of unguided rockets, designed to shred bomber formations. But in 1952, right after landing a huge order for over 600 of them, everything came to a halt once again. Wings of Scorpions kept failing under stress during high-G maneuvers, leading to a string of crashes. Northrop's engineers were forced to go back to the drawing board. They strengthened the wings and got production moving again. Retrofitting the fix onto planes already built, though, that took 2 whole years. Then there's the infamous Battle of Palmdale. August 16, 1956. 2 F-89Ds were sent up to shoot down a runaway drone, an F-6F 5K Hellcat that had lost contact with the HQ. Interceptors unloaded everything they had, 208 rockets total, without a single hit. Some rockets didn't explode. Others missed so badly that they started fires on the ground and damaged a lot of property. The drone just kept flying until it ran out of fuel and crashed in the Mojave Desert. Still, you can't stop progress. Supersonic bombers and cruise missiles that introduced new expectations and challenges in terms of interceptor speed were right around the corner, and the subsonic Scorpion just couldn't keep up. As newer jets came online, the F-89s got shuffled off to the Air National Guard, where they kept flying until 1969. In the end, they never saw combat. Not really. But they did what they were built to do. Held the line during those tricky early years of jet aviation, when the rules of engagement were still being written and cannons and rockets were still being replaced by the smart weapon systems of today.